Hi, my name is Tommy Nguyen. I'm owner of Cross Street Chicken and Beer here in Convoy, Kearny Mesa. We've been here since 2017, and kind of following our family's footsteps, we decided to, make something of our own that we can be proud of and carry on that legacy from our family. We launched grand opening at the end of 2017, going on 2018. With Convoy several years ago, it was a place where we feel that what we can bring to this neighborhood can kind of, help it bring relevance to San Diego. We feel like it was on the path of getting exposure, being a hub of, amazing, Asian-inspired restaurants. And we figure, just being in the community that we've grown up in and are very familiar with, that this will be the perfect neighborhood for us to launch our chicken and beer concept. Beyond that, it's just, it's an area where we have family around, and we all can kind of, just work together in tandem to kind of, bring more light and bring exposure to the neighborhood. We chose Convoy because this is the mecca of Asian-inspired restaurants, and we figured this concept of chicken and beer stems from Korean fried chicken that we can kind of leverage it off of this neighborhood. Beyond that, our family's been here for a decade plus, and we've grown up in this neighborhood, so we're very familiar with it. And we asked ourselves, it's like, if we were to launch something like this, where would it make the most sense? And being the locals, being in San Diego our entire life, we figured Convoy would be perfect for that. I love the fact that, Convoy District itself has been extremely active in getting our community out there in San Diego, and we've made insane progress since we've been here since 2017 to now. The team is growing with the district, and for us is that we're so proud to be a part of it because our restaurant here, I say, and I've always said this to the community, it's just this is an open space for us to do whatever we need to bring attention to this neighborhood. So, several years ago, we threw the first Christmas tree lighting, which was amazing because we were able to collaborate with Convoy District on that. To then, again, just have something going on in our neighborhood that people can say, oh, cool, it's a tradition being built. Traditionally, Convoy was ran by our parents, and they still are. And I think the disconnect there was when there was no, organization to help us kind of coordinate and communicate with one another. Everybody was kind of doing their own thing. And now that we have, younger ownerships and younger concept coming in with an organization like Convoy District, now we can all sync up and build something together and I guess have a more strategized plan to then again showcase this neighborhood for what it is. It's incredible, and for us too, with our parents, they're looking at us and following our footsteps now, which is very interesting because they're not very tech savvy. They don't know much about social media or any of that nature. So when they see us doing stuff like this, they get intrigued. They're like, oh, what is it that you guys are doing or planning for? So for us, being, in front of this all and being a part of this is amazing for the rest of our family members. I think specifically, I want everybody to kind of take away the culture and the traditions that has been in Convoys for the last 20 plus years. Our family's built restaurants here when there was literally nothing around. To what we have done to this point in 2024. We want people to kind of experience, all the different cultures that are here in Convoy, the food, the ambiance, the people, and being able to take that with them and say, oh, I know a spot when, family or friends are visiting San Diego, and be like, I know a spot we can grab amazing Asian food. It's very Asian-centric here, so I want them to be able to kind of get a taste of that. We grew up in the neighborhood, and Asian food is one of the things that kind of brought our family and our friends together. And so when we opened Cross Street Chicken and Beer, my wife, and we traveled to Seoul, Korea, and her family is Korean, and kind of being with her shed a lot of light with the type of food that I was exposed to. I'm Vietnamese, and I grew up just eating one specific, the Asian culture is very diverse. There's a ton of different types of food within, our culture. But I was always used to kind of eating what I was known to eat all the time, whether my parents or whatnot makes it at home. So for me, it's just like, it opened up my eyes and saying that, there's so many different types of, food within the Asian food realm, right? There's Japanese, there's Korean, there's Vietnamese, there's Chinese. So when we traveled around the world right before we opened Cross Street, it kind of opened up my eyes a little bit and saying like, look, for me, it helped me explore and kind of discover that there's so much more to Asian food than just what a lot of people are familiar with or they think that they know. I remember high school, we would always come to Convoy. Convoy was the spot for boba, for desserts, for all that good stuff. And it wasn't, maybe at the age, all we were thinking about was like, desserts and boba, but we didn't get to explore the food. And again, maybe because when you're younger, you don't think about much of the food, foodie type of scene, but you just want a place to hang out, where it's comfortable, it's close by. So growing up in this neighborhood, we've always go to, Tap X, Green Tea House, all these places that just kind of, I think honestly, they made Convoy what it is. And kind of thinking back about like, what was my fondest memory here is just, again, like a place for my friends and I to go to and just hang out, after class, play cards and play games and whatnot. So where it is now, I mean, I think now with all these new concepts, new restaurants in that, it's so much busier than it once was. There's a lot more diversity here. I think that's an incredible thing that we see. There's I would say creativity within the area that has kind of blown out of proportion. I mean, like we have concepts from all around the world here. We have chefs that choose this neighborhood to launch their brand new ideas. And for us, again, like we just want to stay true to what we grew up as, is a place for you to hang out and enjoy good food with friends, and just to kind of like unwind at the end of the day. So we feel like Cross Street fits right in the middle of that. And again, it's like a community area that it's basically what I want, this restaurant to eventually become, is that space for people to host events and do all that. This neighborhood wasn't really an Asian neighborhood back 20 something years ago. It was very industrial. And I asked, my wife's parents, was like, what made you guys choose Convoy? And during that time, I guess one of the answers that we got was like, because all of their friends were opening concepts here, so they felt like, with Asian culture, we feel comfortable kind of moving along with the people that we're familiar with. So it feels safer, especially being in a country that, is second nature to us. So I saw that, I'm like, okay, they kind of stuck together, opening up, these businesses in Convoy, worked or not. It was definitely completely different back in the days. And so for me to ask those type of questions, it kind of allowed me to learn a little bit more of a history in terms of like, the footprint that was left here, and for us to then take on and grow into something that this generation can better like understand and be able to learn about a little bit easier.